Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? This is United versus Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and happy St. Patty's Day to everyone. It is St. Patrick's Day. I didn't even clock that until this morning, actually. So, big up, everyone. Hope you're enjoying your day. If you are enjoying St. Patrick's Day in the more traditional sense, please just be safe and just enjoy yourself, but be safe, more importantly. And happy birthday to my grandmother. She is passed, but she was actually born on St. Patrick's Day, and she was born in Ireland as well. So that's not a lie. That is the God's honest truth. But big up everybody. Danny B in the house. Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day to my Irish brother from another mother. Danny, how are you doing this morning? What a way to head into the international break, right? Big win, hot on the heels of a big 4-1 victory that saw us knock out Real Sociedad in terms of Europa League. And then we advanced to the next round, right? We come back right around the corner a couple days later with a big 3-0 win on the road against a struggling Leicester side. I mean, we all kind of felt like we were going to get something. Leicester are not doing well right now. Failed to score again. But that's 7 goals in 2 matches for us and only 1 goal conceded in those 2 matches too. So awesome. But then it is bittersweet, as the thumbnail implies, because just when things look like they're on the up, injuries start piling up again. So we're talking all that today. We're going to talk more as we discuss the result, the injury news, and maybe also a little bit of recent United news as well. We're squeezing some of that in. I know it's a little earlier than usual. This was literally the only time I could do this today. I've got a new client I got at 10, so I got to make sure I'm out of here by 10. My wife's got clients, all sorts of stuff going on today. And I had to go do the money stuff for my business today too. So it's all kicking off today. So like the video if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the channel content if you want. Again, never any pressure, but some people do like to, get more involved in the channel. And I just like to point out the ways that they can do that. So let's get stuck in. Let me start and catch up with everyone on what's going on. Everybody's jumping in. Neil, big up, Neil. Hope you are doing well. Good to see you again. Good morning, Justin. What's good? Happy St. Patty's Day. Yes, you guys. I was hanging out with Justin yesterday. We were at our friend of ours named Bill. So big up, Bill, for hosting. The dude is just phenomenal cook and hosted us and threw down on some fire cottage pie, not shepherd's pie, cottage pie yesterday. So that was amazing. But big up, Bill, for hosting, man. Always a pleasure. And I always do enjoy it. Justin, good to see you, man. Rob, good morning, Rob. Everyone doing well. Rob says happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Danny says the fast prick should be investigated and banned for taking Xerxes out in the air. That could have been a lot worse. The dirty, yeah. I did notice that too, because normally you're like, it is what it is, one off. But then again, if you rewind back by like 4 or 5 minutes, the two of them were going at it. I said at the time it was the battle of the afros for a moment there. So there's definitely a little bit of malicious intent. I do think that I would like to see. Faz, that's the only thing about Faz can do these days. He was known for own goals for a little while. He was really trying to push, what's the dude's name at Liverpool for a while, who was getting all these OGs. So Faz is not great, and like Rob says, yeah, he's a terrible player. He's just not good. He's really not good. Leicester have struggled since they lost a lot of their good players. Obviously, they got the FA Cup win a few years back. That was about the peak of their powers, but they keep losing players. Madison was the most high profile one they've lost recently. It's just not great. So let's start off with a little bit of squad news, or I guess club news, if you want to call it that. So Ineos, we talked a couple weeks ago that Ineos were trying to work out a deal with Spurs to end their sponsorship. Sounds like that has happened, though. They have ended their sponsorship deal with Spurs. Payoff was reached, so it was worth a couple £1 million a season. So that has been reported by Mike Keegan. So they are no longer sponsoring Spurs. I know there are a lot of people who were not happy when they watching a Spurs match and there's an Ineos logo plastered all over the dugout. So I'd like to see more of that. Let's streamline your focus, streamline your expenses as an owner, as a sponsor. We don't need to do Ineos at Spurs. I really would like them to sell Nice if possible, Sir Jim. You can get easily 500, 600 million for Nice if you want to. You're going to be making profit. Let's put all that into this club, please. I don't like the Glazers, but owning Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a big problem for me. I don't like that. So it has nothing to do with people controlling things. It has everything to do with split foci for your money, for your energy, for your attention, all that. Like, focus on this. But Neil says, to cousins in America, happy St. Patrick's Day. The dad was from Iron. Awesome, man. Big up. Yeah, appreciate it, dude. Big up, Neil. Always good. How are Plymouth doing? I didn't see how they've been doing. In other news, we saw a little bit that Chelsea were supposedly trying to get out of their obligation to buy with Jadon Sancho, but now Ben Jacobs is reporting that Chelsea have no intention of losing Jadon Sancho. They have no intention of letting him go back. The expectation, according to Ben Jacobs, is that they will activate their obligation to buy for about 25 million. So we saw a lot of this stuff, like maybe they want to cancel it. I mean, it is what it is. Honestly, I'm almost a little gutted about the fact that they don't want to let him back, because it would have been nice to get a little extra money from Chelsea for a penalty for canceling that obligation, but then also turn around and still sell him in the summer. So we could have been making extra money. But honestly, the funniest part about this whole thing is just watching all these Chelsea fans retreat back into the woodwork after they brought all that banter with so much bass and so much chest. They brought all that banter when they supposedly stole our best player, similar to what Aston Villa are doing. And now you won't hear a peep from any of them because they're finding out, like, it's not the club with Sancho. Some players, it's the club. Some players, it's the system. But with Sancho's case, it's just like Anthony. It's the league. He can't handle the league. He's great on the ball. He just, the physicality, the mentality required, the attitude shift that he would have had to have shown. He just hasn't shown it. When things get hard, Sancho looks for someone else to blame. I mean, the guy was out here posted on Rashford's Instagram, like, can I come with you at Aston Villa? And Aston Villa's official account replied and said, no. You inject it into my veins, man. Love it. Danny says, did Chelsea just buy Quenda and Asugo just to piss us off over the Sancho deal? I don't think that Chelsea actually know what they're doing. If you notice, a lot of these players that Chelsea are buying are literally just players that were heavily linked and other clubs are heavily interested in first. So Todd Bowley's just kind of like, oh, well, let's go get them. They seem to be popular. So maybe if other clubs just start pretending they're heavily in for these young players, Chelsea will just go spend so much money and then they'll be screwed. But I don't know what Chelsea have no plan. Like, they remind me of that scene from Batman Dark Knight where Joker's like, do I look like a guy with a plan? Like, that's what Todd Bowley reminds me of right now, man. Danny says, Asugo going to be a gem. Yeah, I saw that they were heavily linked with him. They might be getting him. But, I mean, how many young midfielders and whatnot did Chelsea want? I mean, Lavia is still kicking around there. They've got a couple that they don't even want anymore, like Carney, Chukwuemeka, and they have another one too, some other name I can't pronounce. Obviously, they got Enzo Caicedo as well. Like, I don't know what Chelsea's plan is with all this. Oh, is it done deal? Interesting. All right, well, it is what it is. So probably go another player that they're never going to see the light of day. So it's too bad. Honestly, if I'm a young player, that's hard because these young players, they come from, not super affluent backgrounds most of the time. But so when you're giving them this much wages, you're coming to the Premier League and you're basically setting them up for like 8 years, because this is what Chelsea have been doing. The Quenda deal is reportedly going to be 7+1. I mean, it's hard to say no to that as a player. I'm not going to fault anybody for that. People say they just want the money. Well, yeah, you would do the same thing. So it is what it is. You'd like to think that young players would want to play. And so, like, number 10s, like, don't go to Madrid. You're never going to play. But some players, I mean, the appeal of that, the finance is too much. So it is what it is. Oh, Neil says Plymouth going to get relegated. Hey, you know what? You still knocked out Liverpool in the FA Cup, so you guys are still out here doing the Lord's work. So big up to that, man. You almost had City. You put City on the ropes for a little bit, so you can't take that away from you guys. So big up, you guys. And this is why I love the domestic cups, man. I love Carabao, the FA Cup. I love it, and that's exactly why. Such a big day for some of these clubs like Plymouth, man. Then he says they have Santos too, turning in a solid midfielder. Yeah, they have Chelsea, and Chelsea have that pipeline from like Strasbourg and whatnot as well. And so we need to. That's what we really need to start doing. We need to start getting in line with some of these other clubs. Get like a Club Brugge, get like an Anderlecht, get like use Lausanne Sport, or even like use Vavell links and go through like Salzburg, or maybe get in touch with Carrick and get on a Middlesbrough kind of pipeline. So yeah, that's the Andre Santos. He's that fullback, right? I can't remember now off the top of my head. I think he like a right back or something. How many right backs do they want? Oh, this is insane. Um, and yep, Rob says big up to the Geordies for yesterday. Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. Danny says we should be doing the Nipan deal now. Yeah, so we might do a video sometime within the next couple weeks with, Danny put out a question in a stream the other day, if I had 200 million, to spend in the summer, what would I do? And I said, well, that would take some more thought, because that's like a whole nother video. So I did spend some time yesterday in the morning kind of going through how I would spend that, what my priorities would be. So there might be another video we do during this international break. So if you guys want to get involved with that, if that's something you'd like to see, let me know, because I do have options. So, and then also this week, Dylan's going to be joining me. We're going to be going through our managers post Fergie and kind of ranking them. So it'd be interesting to see how each of us ranks them. Most people's are probably going to be very similar. I think it's where you get like the number one, number two, number three. We all kind of have the number five, but that's where you're going to start seeing some different interesting things. But yeah, Danny, the Nippon deal should be done. Masantuono was having an excellent start to the season. 4 matches, already a goal and an assist, which, at that rate, he'll still be, he might be the one to look out for. He looks like he might have upped the level on the offseason as well. So Danny says, was pleased for Newcastle fans yesterday. Yeah, that's why we love these domestic cups, man. Beating Newcastle in the League Cup final, though, is not for everybody. So it is what it is. Danny says, delighted. Yeah, I'm delighted for Newcastle. On to a little bit of transfer news as we move on for the news. This has been reported by Matteo Moretto. He's a guy who's always chilling with Fabrizio Romano, well-respected journal. But apparently he says United have met with Spanish agent Javier Garrido in England this week. So this guy apparently represents Kanjin Lee, who's at PSG, Etzel Zui, who is at Real Betis. So the initial report just listed like his shortened first name, which is Abdi, but it's like something Abdul Dogur Etzel Zui. But I did a scouting report on this guy like 2 years ago before he went to Real Betis. Etzel Zui, he's a very good young attacker. So Javi Guerra at Valencia was also represented by this guy. Inaki Peña at Barcelona, the keeper. And then Real Madrid's young fullback, Jesus Fortea. So it's quite a mix of players that this guy represents. Doesn't mean we're interested in all these players or any individual one, but these are the players that this guy represents. So it's a couple of forwards in there / number 10s, a center midfielder that we've also been linked to in the past in Javi Guerra, a keeper in Iñaki Peña, who, if that's what we're looking at, would be probably replace Ballinger. And then a very, very young right back. That Fortea guy is a very young right back. But that would fall in line with some of the young, like, right midfielder wing backs that we've been looking at, the Roger Fernandez, the Giovanni Quenda kind of thing. So interesting stuff here. Let me see. Danny says Franco played in a goalless draw the weekend. Yeah, he's playing a little bit more. He's, like I said, he's already got a goal and assist to his name in the start of the season. I think last season in all comps he only had like 5 goals and like 4. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think that's a strong start to the season. I hope he can replicate it. He is still very young, but we'll see. I just like his energy in that area of the pitch, and that's something that we need more of. Neil says, my team, Exeter City, are going to stay up, play 1 league below Plymouth. Nice, man. Then he says, Guerra to Valencia. Yeah, we've been linked to him in the past, so maybe it's something we need some midfielders for sure. We need a lot of players, honestly. So if I do that 200 million budget summer spending spree video, it'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks. Neil, I have not seen any news on the Heaven injury. I was waiting on that this morning. I thought maybe we could do that, but nothing yet. I don't know if we're going to hear anything from that for a little while. It looked bad in real time, according to what's his face? Andy Mitten after the match. He was walking. He was in a boot, but he was walking on his own, no crutches, I think. So that could be good news as well. So we'll see. Rob says, is Alvin Sanchez good enough for United from FC Lausanne-Sport? I did a scouting report on him last month, a mini scout report. He is very, very, very good. He is one, again, we should be utilizing that that connection with Lausanne-Sport. They are owned by Ineos. That should be the kind of, I want them to sell Nice, keep Lausanne-Sport, and we can use that as a pipeline. We can send youngsters there to go on loan and get some minutes and whatnot. That to me is a no-brainer. But yeah, he is very, very good. We did, like I said, I did do a mini scout report on him last month, I believe that was. So he is very good. Let's move on to the match. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. So ahead of this one, obviously, I posted out because there are a lot of rumors and claims going around ahead of kickoff that Andre Onana was ill, and Dermot Mee, our 22-year-old academy keeper, was reportedly getting ready to start. At the last minute, though, Onana was past fit, so he ended up starting and obviously keeping a clean sheet, doing pretty well. No problems there, so I don't know what happened there. Haven't seen anything else from that, but I didn't realize Dermot Mee at the time, he was 22, so he's older than Radek Vitek. He's probably at an age where he's going to need to be playing regularly someplace first team. So whether that's a loan, whether that is a player that we sell, is up for debate, but he needs to be getting some minutes if he's 22 years old. Heaven started again. We'll talk more about him later. Mazraoui was filling in at right wing back with Dorgu serving the final match of his suspension. Dallo obviously moving over to the left-hand side. And then we got Bruno back in that pivot again. Ugarte's back. Eriksson, Garnacho on their right-hand 10, and then Højlund started. So no Xerxes starting. Casemiro rested a little bit after playing so many matches. And then we saw a surprise name on the team sheet. We talked about this in the preview. Mason Mount made his return to the matchday squad. Did not see any minutes, but he is in the matchday squad. So, again, it's the same thing. It's two things at once. A fit and firing Mount, just like a fit and firing Luke Shaw, is only good for this squad and improves us. But on the other hand, we can't count on them to be fit and firing ever for more than a match, maybe. So they're almost non-entities in the squad at this point. So again, it's really unfortunate. Again, a fit and firing Shaw, fit and firing Mount, all of it would be excellent for us. It's not going to happen. So if we can get anything for either in the summer, bite someone's hand off and run. In terms of the numbers and everything, we were in control for most of this match. 56% possession in the first half. We switched it up to a counterattack a little bit in the second half. Obviously, we went into the halftime with the goal up thanks to Højlund. And then we had to make a couple substitutions early on in the second half, which probably contributed to that. But all in all, on the day, we did vastly outperform our XG. Our XG was 0.78. Obviously, we got 3 goals, so we made the most of some chances that maybe we weren't expected to get something from. 18 shots, 5 on target, 43 shots in our last 2 matches, y'all. And we're getting better. This system is starting to kind of, it's like when an algorithm starts picking up something after it's had a large enough sample size to kind of make sense, and then everything starts running smoothly. And that's kind of what the system is starting to do a little bit. Leicester actually had a higher XG than us, and they created more big chances, but they just don't have the quality in the squad. I mean, you're relying on a Jamie Vardy who's pretty much my age, no jokes. And to be fair to Jamie Vardy, he's still got that dog in him. He still looks up for it, and he can still do a job. That's where they are right now. I mean, they still have Jamie Vardy and Patson Daka. They signed Patson Daka, in like 2017 or something? Like, this is insane. You can make the argument on the night that the Foxes maybe deserve more for their efforts. But again, I always say no one deserves a result in football. You have to earn it. Despite the chances you get, hitting the woodwork, whatever it is, you have to earn it. No one's just deserving of a result just because they've showed up with a little bit more fight. So Danny says, the last time we saw fit firing Mount was 4 or 5 years ago under Tuchel. Yeah. Again, not saying that I think it could happen or I think it will. I'm just saying a fit and firing Mount, just like the fit and firing Shaw we saw in 22-23, is only good for this club, but it's just not going to happen. Danny says a 1-season wonder. Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't looked at the numbers since he joined us, but I would be shocked if he had like double-digit starts for us since he joined us, honestly. Neil says, did Sir Jim walk away and get abused like Glazers? Did I see that Sir Jim will walk away? I think what he said is if he's failed, he'll walk away, like he'll leave, he'll sell. But I don't think there's a lot of people that are picking and choosing quotes from these interviews and they want to lump them together as this is what was said. This is why. What's the catchphrase on this channel, you guys? Context is key. You got to read the interviews in their entirety because there's zero context. But individual performances, I mean, we know what we're getting from a lot of these players. Bruno was once again brilliant on the night. A goal, 2 assists, created the most chances, 7 of 10 duels. He actually had the most tackles as well. Like he's really, really coming into his own in this deeper role. Now his crosses and his long balls are still not great. I don't think he's got as much power sometimes on those legs when he's making those long temps, but he's doing an excellent job in that role. If you don't have him in your fantasy team right now, just stop playing fantasy football. Honestly, the guy I think he had like 17 points yesterday. He's involved in everything and he's getting stuck in all over the pitch. Man of the match for me, captain's performance once again from our Magnifico. Bruno literally he's world class at this point. Literally the only thing that doesn't have him in some of these conversations is just trophies because, and again, that's not even down to him with the chances he creates. He should probably have twice as many assists that he does. It just had to work with Dross for the last couple of years. DeLitt, solid from the back. Did you guys clock that late block he made to deny Buonanotte later on in the match? Like that was clutch. That is class defensive work from DeLitt in that note. I mean, he's not excellent in defending in these channels when he's got to kind of keep up with people on the run, but you're going to see that from the bigger guys. Like Van Dijk's not great at that either. You're going to see that sometimes. And I don't have a problem with that, but this is why you always talk about center backs in context of partnerships. You have to complement one another. You had your Rios, you had your Vidic. One was that Rolls Royce, one was just an absolute demon of a defender. They're both world class in their own rights, but they're very different stock profile of defenders. And so with the three at the back, it does help. DeLitt, I think, is going to be excellent in that central role. Going to have Euro, maybe someday have Leach back. I don't know, but we need another mobile defender who's good on the ball on that left-hand side while we wait for Leach to get back. But DeLitt's tackle, his to deny Buonanotte was a thing of beauty. Lindelof struggled again. I mean, especially with those long balls. He's always struggled with the long balls, but there was that one play where the ball just came and it's just like, dude, why are you letting this thing bounce like 2 or 3 times? You need to just get rid of it. He's done that 4 years. Like, just boot it, man. It's ridiculous. We'll talk about heaven again in a little bit. Let me see what you guys are saying. Rob says, haven't checked my fantasy team for months. I think I've made you in a tone now. Danny says, DeLitt, man of the match performance. I mean, members, you've got that man of the match emoji. Let me know who you think man of the match was. I mean, it's hard to not give it to Bruno after a goal and 2 assists and literally most tackles and like most chance created and stuff. It's hard not to. But DeLitt, in terms of defenders, this is why DeLitt's a future captain in all rights. Like, he's got everything you're going to need from a captain. The mentality. He just hasn't been at the club long enough. We don't want to. Bruno's still here, so it is what it is. But Danny says he done it in the last game too versus. Yeah, he's been immense. Like, I've wanted us to sign DeLitt for years. I was gutted when he went to Juve. He was at that time. I was like, this is who we need to get. It is what it is. Bayern had a lot of managerial changes, so Bayern's loss is our win as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, DeLitt's he's an absolute force of nature. Mazraoui filled in today at right wing back. He can do a job in one of those roles. I think obviously he's the right back by trade. It doesn't look like it's his comfort zone as much as maybe it's just lack of familiarity because he's been playing center back so much, but he's always looks good on the ball. He's always able to find teammates. He was doing really well with long balls. He created a chance. He's not super comfortable in that role, but that's all right. Dallo, he got a goal against Sociedad. Dallo grabbed an assist tonight after a brilliant step over to leave Mavididi just on his ass, giving himself all sorts of space to just pick out Bruno at his leisure. And this is what frustrates me about Dallo. Like, he has that in his locker. He has the 1v1 skill in his locker. But I've told you, with Dallo, it's all mental. It wasn't until we were up 2-0 late on the match that Dallo was able to kind of shrug off some of that pressure and some of that fear and back himself a little bit. He needs to be able to do that from the off when things are hard, when we're down by a goal even. He's got to be able to show that same confidence in those 1v1s on and off the ball. Like, that's what I'm talking about, a lack of resilience, a lack of mentality. You can't just only turn it on when you're up 2-0 and you're going into the final minutes and you're like, cool. You got to have that from the opening whistle. But again, he was excellent. I mean, 2 out of 2 dribbles, 2 out of 2 long balls, 6 of 7 duels on the night. And that's much better than we usually see from Dallo. So we need to give him his flowers on that performance. If he can keep it up, I don't think Amorim is going to be looking to get rid of him anytime soon. I think it's a matter of Dallo maybe wanting to move on himself, or if his form if he can't maintain. But still, I'd sell him for a good price because we will make money on him. Danny B says De Ligt feels the leader and play better when Slab is not playing. Yeah, because when Slab is playing, he's playing in that central role, and De Ligt's just not as comfortable in those wider center back roles because he's got to defend those channels, those runs, and he's just not quick. He's not like agile. He's much better in that central role when he can kind of dictate things a little bit and just kind of stay in his lane in terms of let's win these duels, let's make these tackles, let's organize, that's what I need De Ligt to do. So Danny B says 100% on Dallo. He's a melter. He's got it in his locker, and I think that's what frustrates me most about Dallo is that he can do it. It's just the mental block is keeping him from keeping it up on a consistent basis. So he's got to get over this mentality hump. Eriksson, largely anonymous in my opinion, aside from a couple good passes, and he had that excellent curled shot that rattled the frame of the goal. Still not physical enough. Obviously, we know that 0 out of 4 duels, but you know what you're getting with Eriksson. With time and space on the ball, Eriksson can be very good at kind of dictating play, controlling possession, slowing things down, keeping things moving, help controlling the ball a little bit. You're not going to get a whole lot of that against certain sides in this league, but against sides who are sitting a little deep, Eriksson can do a job. It's just he's going to be gone in the summer. But again, I mean, we know what we're getting. Collier came on for Aiden Heaven, slotted into defense, did quite well. 6 of 8 duels, 2 interceptions, 2 out of 4 tackles. I mean, the kid is so good. Literally been the perfect impact sub for us recently. Collier comes on and he just maintains the level of control and physicality that you fight for. Sometimes you get the energy when you bring on a sub, like when you bring on Garnacho, you get the energy. But what Collier, because his reading of the game is so good, and because he doesn't shy away from getting involved, he wants to get involved. He maintains and even raises that level of just fight and physicality as a sub right now. I mean, as a squad player, I think Collier is it, man. He's just great. Danny says Eriksson horrible in the press. Yeah, I mean, Eriksson's got his strengths. He's got his weaknesses. It is what it is. We know, and that's why I said you know what you're getting with Eriksson. So then he says Collier. Yeah, Collier is he's mustard, man. I love that kid. Højlund and Garnacho broke their duck after 21 games without finding the back of the net. Højlund back on the score sheet. And honestly, we can't argue that it wasn't looking more and more likely in recent weeks. His movement has been improving. His frustration, which in a good way, we've seen it, like he's wanting it. His link-up play has been improving. His movement to try to get on the end of things, it was always just trying to get that over that little confidence hump, that anxiety hump. And it looks like someone just said, stop worrying so much. The goals will come. Just get into good positions. And he did. He got that assist for Dallo against Sociedad. And I said in the match preview ahead of this one, I had a feeling it's going to come. He's going to be fine. He timed his run so well to stay on side, placed his shot perfectly, finding that far post with his weaker right foot. I mean, and it's awesome. But do it again. Keep it up. It's a shame that we got to go into the break, but just keep it up, man. Garnacho, too, was on a 24-match goalless run. I did that last night as well. He got that goal. Could have had 2 had he not curled his run a little bit more and stayed on side by a toenail. But it is what it is. His creation numbers aren't as good as we've seen, but I mean, he was getting on the goals. And so if you're going to give him space, if you're going to let him get time on the ball in the box, Garnacho's going to shoot. We know that. So I'm not going to nitpick. He grabbed a goal. He did well. So Danny says, that's the Rasmus we signed and we saw in phases last season. Yeah, last season, Rasmus looked every bit of a promising young 21-year-old striker that we'd signed. He should not be our main striker. And I do think we need an older, more experienced striker, not because I'm like Højlund's bad. It's because Højlund needs help. That's a lot of responsibility to put on a young striker. Who else? What other club does that? So go get Jonathan David. Just get it done. He's on a free, 25 years old. Just do it. Neil says, Bruno, 16 goals this season, 8 in the league and other competitions, 5 more goals. Bruno will score 100 goals for me. Well, you move us on to our next point because you guys know I do jump into my 3 thoughts. So get your thoughts in. We are going to get started with mine. Starting with number 1, Bruno is a United legend. Now, a bit tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, we're not going over-gassing, but the guy, in terms of records, the guy is impeccable. We talk about him pretty much every match recently, but can you blame me? He was immense last night. His goal and his 2 assists give him a hand in 8 of our last 10 goals, 4 goals, 2 assists in the last 2 games for Bruno. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if kind of like Cristiano, if his best years are coming after he turns 30. Remember, Ronaldo was more productive after he turned 30 than before. He's got 97 Premier League goal involvements since the start of the 2021 season. He's got 11 more goal involvements than any other midfielder since his first full season. Also, now this puts him in the all-time top 10 United players for Premier League goal contributions. He's got 62 goals, 50 assists. So he jumped into the top 10 this weekend. He's the first United player to score more than 50 and assist more than 50 in the Premier League since Wayne Rooney. And ironically, yesterday, because he jumped into the top 10, that meant he knocked Ruud van Nistelrooy out of our top 10 in terms of goal involvements at the club. He's actually only 3 behind Eric Cantona, 14 behind Andy Cole now on our all-time goal involvements list at this club. This is why I'm saying he is a United legend. If he'd had a few more trophies, we'd already be calling him a legend, but is that really fair that that's what it takes, trophies? I mean, people are calling Salah a Premier League legend, and he's just got 1 Premier League. So maybe that status, maybe these titles are turning into a little bit of a participation medal at this point. But still, regardless, Bruno is etching his name in the club's history with just the output that he's done. It's criminal, again, that he doesn't have more assists than he does. Probably would have meant more trophies, too, had we had some better finishers at the club. But that's not on him. He's already a legend, in my opinion, at this club. He's been our best signing post-Fergie. So anyone who disagrees, fight me. I cannot, honest to God, believe that there are United fans who don't rate Bruno. I'll never understand it. You got people out here like Liverpool fans who are pretty big on YouTube doing hate watch-alongs watching United play Sociedad and just making fun of Bruno, calling him a rat and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. You call him whatever you want to, but the guy is an absolute baller. And like Danny says, proving a point to Keno. I mean, still waiting for Keno to hold his hands up like he did with James freaking Madison. Then he said, Bruno is that. Yeah, Bruno is him. I think Joe on Stratford Paddock said it perfectly yesterday. Enjoy Bruno while he's here, because when he's gone, everyone will remember how good he was. It's going to be a sad day for United when we lose him. It's a criminal. It's a crime that we didn't win more with him at this club. I mean, FA Cup, League Cup. I mean, he deserves more than that, but that's on his teammates, not on him. But yeah, Bruno already etching his name in United history. Knocked Ruud van Nistelrooy out of the top 10 of the club for goal involvements. 3 behind Cantona, who we all consider a legend. We all consider Ruud a legend too. So he's up there. But you guys let me know your thoughts. We're going to move on to my next point here. And that is, it's a bittersweet victory. So obviously I threw this in the thumbnail, but it is bittersweet for a number of reasons. So yes, it was an excellent win. And you guys know how much I love a clean sheet. I almost love a clean sheet more than just winning itself. That's how much I want it. But it did come at a price. After a brilliant first half, Aiden Heaven was injured minutes into the second half after making a challenge on Daka. Before that, he was like so good. The kid, 2 out of 2 tackles, 6 out of 8 duels, 2 out of 3 long balls, 2 out of 2 dribbles. He made one last man tackle, and he had 90% pass accuracy going into that second half, and a pair of back-to-back crucial goal preventing blocks in one passage of play too. The kid is just unstoppable until he is stoppable. The injury doesn't look good. It didn't look good in real time. It sucks. He's been superb. Now they didn't show a replay, which is probably the biggest reason why I think it's bad. They refused to show a replay. But then again, he was seen walking on his own with a boot, but walking on his own, no crutches and everything. So there's a chance it might not be as bad as it did look. It always looks worse than it actually is, I think. Like people want to complain about Mo Salah, whatever. Final against Real Madrid. Can't. If I hear one more Liverpool fan talk about that, I'm going to lose my shit. But we might need to buy 2 or 3 center backs this summer because the ones we have are dropping like flies. Licha's not going to be ready till next winter. Yora won't be ready till next month. Evans, I have no idea what's going on with Evans. He's been out since Amorim's first match. Maguire, kind of picking up little knocks here and there now after being so superb for us for the first several years. We're going to need some help here in defense because I have no idea what's happening with Heaven either. So bittersweet in that regard, but no one can deny that Heaven has been an absolute steal. I got Arsenal fans out here trying to tell us that he only joined us because we offered more money. We offer a pathway. That's just what we do. But as Danny says, Heaven, what a player. Let me get this off the screen. Pop, pop. Danny says, yesterday clearly showed us we need a press-resistant deep line playmaker that can drive with the ball and play out from the back with ease. Bring me Arden Yashari. Anyone who is on Arden Yashari watch, you guys let me know how he did yesterday because I can tell you how he did yesterday. Rob says, Luke Shaw back soon, according to Amorim. Be nice to see him for one game. Yeah, I swear if Luke Shaw is on the plane right now to go to England duty, I will literally on a plane tomorrow in Manchester, and I will be protesting outside the Carrington. Danny says, I think it's our most important sign. Yeah, we do need someone because Bruno is kind of doing it now. So I wouldn't mind someone who can come in and start rotating, and that's why I like Yashari, Hackney. Although Hackney, I'm cooling on Hackney a little bit. He's not bad. I don't think he's as good as Yashari or like someone even like a Lamine Camara at Monaco, Tijani Reinders, someone like that. Or João Neves would be the ideal for me. But Yashari's up. He's probably moved to the top of my list right now. So. But you guys let me know how you feel about Heaven. We obviously will all be praying that he gets back soon because we need him. He has been so class. I mean, he's 18. Guys, he's 18. And his numbers, his performance, his comfort, like he looks so composed and just not shit. He's like Lenny Euro. Like Lenny Euro's literally, 18, 19? Looks like he's been playing for 10 years. Like that is like those two center backs could be our like starting center backs for the next 10 years. Like that's insane. That's such good scouting and recruitment from Wilcox and guys like Vavell. Like that's incredible. Danny says, I agree. Ederson, Baleba, we need someone ready to go. Yeah, Ederson would be nice. Like I said, Reinders is up there too for me. Orkin Kokshu. He's a little bit more advanced, but he is very good on the ball as well. A lot of options out there. Zubamendi, Palacios. I mean, they're all over the place. There's no shortage of those style of midfielders right now. So let me move on to my third point here because I'm trying to keep an eye on the time because I do have a client at 10 today. Number 3, another debut for youth. So our injury crisis has seen a few youngsters kind of make their first team debuts in recent weeks. Cheeto, obviously, Obi Martin has been playing more. Aiden Heaven, of course. And then last night, Ruben Amorim handed a debut to Harry Amos. Came on in the 69th minute. Did not do horribly. 10 of 11 passes, 2 out of 3 tackles, 1 out of 1 aerial duels. Amos didn't look bad at all. And I guess it was also his 18th birthday. So happy birthday to Harry Amos yesterday. So what a birthday present, right? But this is, again, this whole the way we've been promoting the youth, just in this look at just in the last month or so since Amorim has been doing this. Like, and I get injuries, but again, you don't have to play these guys. But again, kind of like what I was just talking about with Aiden Heaven, this is why I laugh when you've got Arsenal fans out here trying to throw out this excuse of United offered more money. Like, it's bullshit. We offered Aiden Heaven, we offered Cheeto Oakmar an actual pathway to the first team, and he's doing well. Like, look at what Aiden Heaven has been doing. Amos is just another example of that. Young players at United will play if they're good enough. They have to be patient. They have to work hard. They have to show that sacrifice and that mentality and that focus. But there is a pathway to the first team. And this is not just because like we have players who like in the first team who aren't performing. We've got good players, but these players are getting their chance. This is what's going to go a long way towards convincing young transfer targets like the Nippons, like the Mastantuonos, like the Ordonezes or the Jimenezes or any of the Ezes. This is what's going to go a long way towards convincing these young players to sign for us over someone else. Even like this is why Lenny Yoro was a big part of that. Obviously, we offered him a lot of money, but he's not going to play at the other big clubs. He'll play at United. These guys will come here and they will play if they take their opportunities and they take them with both hands and they don't let go. Danny says Andre at Wolves should have signed last season. Yeah, there's a ton of players out there in terms of midfielders that you can look at. I'm loving it. Neil says right now Bruno is my favorite United player. Yeah, Bruno is easily our best player, our best signing since Fergie was here. Probably one of our best signings since we signed Robin van Persie, and he basically single-handedly won us the league. But yeah, another debut for youth in the form of Harry Amos. That's 3 youngster debuts in the last few months under Amorim, in the last month under Amorim. And then Dorgu obviously coming in as a 20-year-old and pretty much starting when he's fit. So I like this. I like what I've seen. Obviously, we've been linked to a lot of youngsters too, and I do think we'll see a lot of that. As Danny says, with midfielders, specifically, I do want someone a little more experienced. We do need a balance. The class of 92 had senior players alongside them, so we do need to make sure we don't go too heavily down the Arsenal route where we've only got young players and it's trust the process. We need a balance. So hopefully we can get that going. Hopefully we can do a bit of recruiting. The more we like Jonathan David, 25, go get him. Like just go get him. I don't care what you have to do. Let's make it happen. Mbuemo maybe for one of those roles behind the striker. He can also play a striker if we need him to. He can also probably play as that right wing back kind of area if we need him to. Like 25 years old. Like go get it done, man. Neil says, was Harry Ama's birthday yesterday? Yep, that's what we said. It was his birthday yesterday too. So happy birthday him. Good birthday present, right? First team debut for Amas in the league. Danny says Arsenal wasted money on Calafiore. They should have promoted Heaven and used that money on a striker instead of wasting it. They should have used so much money on a striker. Arsenal, I don't know what. I mean, they were. I don't know what their plans are for a striker, man. There are some strikers that they're just going to have to spend. Honestly, I think you're going to see Osimhen go to Arsenal because they'll pay that release clause because it is pretty low, and I don't think they'll have a problem with the wages. I think Jonathan David on the free is, for us, with where we are PSR-wise and what we're looking for in terms of the profile. Like, Arsenal put so much balls in the box that Osimhen is probably the better fit for their system, where I think someone like Jonathan David or Gyökeres are better fit for our system. Jonathan David clinches it for me because he's going to be a free agent. So it is what it is. Then he says they probably won the Prem if they did. Yeah, if they'd done that instead of getting like Gabriel Jesus, not really a 9. Kai Havertz, obviously not really a 9. They can stick Mikel Moreno up there if you want. He might grab them a goal. Obviously they beat Chelsea, but he's not a 9. But this is 4 meetings with Leicester this season and 4 wins. I mean, not too shabby, if I'm being honest. And hey, 13th place, right? Boom, boom, boom. We could jump to 12th if we can beat Forest after this break, but that's, I think, asking a lot. Forest are on an absolute tear this season. I'm still frustrated that we have an international break now because it kind of brings a lot of this momentum that we've been building to a screeching halt, whether that's in form of the team or just individual players who are kind of coming into a bit of form. I hate international breaks so much. Just as we're seeing this system start to click, Højlund and Garnacho getting back into form, Bruno in the best form of his season, it all comes to a stop. And all these players, now you got to go and watch these players go play with their international clubs or teams and hopefully not get injured. The best we can hope for is that some of these players like Mount and Shaw and Mainu can come back and get fit, and then for no injuries. Honestly, though, if we get injuries to key players. If Bruno, just don't even come to, I might not even do any videos if that happens, because I will be a bitter little bitch if we get some injuries. Amorim, though, is planning to manage who's sticking around the best he can. He said we're going to divide the team basically and give different things for different players, try to be ready for the final 2 months. So he says they get better because we have Forrest. So he's going to be dividing some players into different teams, the ones who aren't going away with international clubs, to try to focus on different recoveries and different things. So we'll see what happens there. So Danny says, I think the break is needed. We come back and get a win against Forest. Injuries depending, of course. Yeah, I mean, we have to. So did you think that we'd end the stream without taking a moment to laugh at Liverpool? Come on, you guys know me better than that. Salah with the fewest touches of anyone on the pitch yesterday. They lost 2-1 in the League Cup final to Newcastle. Salah was the only Liverpool player. Oh, and actually, sorry. The only Liverpool player to have a match rating higher than 6.5 was Kelleher. Everybody else was garbage yesterday. So we all can laugh at that. I don't know where I put my bottle of Scouse Tears. I might have to order some more, but that was just hilarious. Hey, you know what? Winning your first trophy, your first season is not for everybody. Obviously, they're going to be probably winning the league. It's theirs to lose. So we'll hold that L when it comes to that. But for now, we can laugh at Liverpool. There's really no excuse for that. They are by far the better side. They have plenty of breathing room, and they're going into international break. You had no excuse to play better than that on the day. So that was just a ridiculous collapse. Yep, Danny's taking a moment to laugh. So we will too. I don't have a problem with that. Danny says still can't win a double. Yep, out of the FA Cup to Plymouth. Made it to the League Cup final, lost. I mean, beating Newcastle in the final is not for everybody. I get it. It's not everyone can do that. So out of the Champions League as well for PSG. There's just it's gonna be interesting to see how they do. I mean, they could go on a tear and just put miles and miles of points between them and Arsenal, but you have to wonder what this is going to do. Maybe the break is helpful for them, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, the proper double, yeah. Chelsea lost 2, and Sancho continues to enjoy his freedom. Spurs did some Spursy things, losing 2-0 to Fulham. Everton and West Ham drawing helped us out as well, kind of helped us get a little bit of breathing space where we are. And then again, like I said, Arden Yashari balling out for Club Brugge yesterday, had a goal, had an assist, 4 out of 5 long balls, 5 out of 7 duels. He's definitely my top summer target in terms of a physical but playmaking midfielder in that pivot. Easily drops back to get the ball and launch the attack, easily drops back to pitch in with defense, able to get forward, able to pick out players, able to provide assists. The guy is just an absolute baller. So he'd be my top target. So a little spoiler alert for a future video probably, but that's going to do it for me, you guys. Let me know what your thoughts were on the match if you weren't able to catch the live. Who was your man of the match, by the way? I mean, mine's got to be Bruno. You can't not give it the goal and 2 assists on the night, and then some of those numbers. But De Ligt, like Danny said, De Ligt's probably up there for me. But take it easy, you guys. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. Please like the video on the way out. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check memberships if you want to learn how you can get more involved in the channel and the content and whatnot. We do have the international break. Dylan and I will be here Wednesday to talk about some manager stuff. We'll probably try to do another video sometime soon where we talk about post-Fergie signings as well. And then I might have a video or two to kind of break up the monotony of the international break, because you guys know I don't really care about international friendlies. Danny says, Bruno, De Ligt, Heaven were all class. They were all class, man. So if you guys are celebrating St. Patrick's Day, just be safe, but enjoy yourselves. Don't get too crazy. Don't get behind the wheel of the car. No, we don't want any Jack Grealishes out here. So until next time, you guys, take it easy. Enjoy your day. Thanks for checking it out. As always, appreciate the input, appreciate the chats and everyone's opinions. And I will see you guys on the next one, probably Wednesday, barring any major breaking news. So until then, take it easy. Enjoy your day, guys. Talk to you later.